Hey, what's up, guys? Chris and Chris back with Delta Consulting to talk today about why you shouldn't discount your projects and why that actually cheapens the value of what you do. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Cool. Well, let's dive right in.
Yeah. So this topic about discounts and pricing, give me your thoughts right out the gate about why most contractors shouldn't be discounting their work.
I mean, in true me being a pain in the butt fashion, I'm gonna say convince me why someone would.
Well, I guess the most common arguments you'll hear, I mean, I'm on your side with this, so I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But
Sure.
let's say the people that are saying, well, I overbid jobs hoping to make a better margin, but I only need XYZ%. So if somebody says no, I offer them 10% off or 15% off or whatever it is.
So I actually don't mind that from a sales tactic for that point of view.
Mhm.
If you have that as a plan, that means you're intentional about it.
Mhm.
Getting a discount definitely makes people feel like they're getting better value.
Mhm.
Um, so if you are being intentional and making a point to use a step down process in your sales system,
Mhm.
that's going to tell me two things. One, you probably know your numbers better than the average person that we're talking to here.
Mhm.
Two, you actually have some intentionality and thoughtfulness going into why you're doing it. And so if you're normally selling at a 42% gross profit, but you're going to start off at a 50% and then discount to 45 and then discount to 42, trying to close while you're on site, I like that. I think most people will discount from a scarcity mindset, which is not the example you're giving here.
Yeah, so I guess the important clarification is for all of you listening, there's a big difference between a strategic discount that is baked into your sales process, planned in advance, and is not just you giving a discount off of what you think the job should cost. So
Yeah.
I
So
guess
here's a great example of that on just a really, really, really small scale. I price all of my jobs as if I'm going to take a credit card for payment.
Mhm.
Which, by the way, if you're a contractor and you refuse to take a credit card for whatever stupid reason, then that's 100% a you issue. Like
Mhm.
most most people don't carry cash. I
Mhm.
don't even have a checkbook outside of the business,
Mhm.
and we're both relatively young. Like the way of physical pay is gone.
Mhm.
So adjust your pricing. 3% will never kill a deal.
Mhm.
Just do it. Um,
Yeah,
but if someone were to come to me and say, "Hey, I am willing to pay cash, or I'm willing to pay with a check, or whatever," is there anything you can do for me?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm happy to take that 3% off because I have that
Absolutely.
baked into my price. Sure, I'll give you that discount. No problem.
Yeah. And one thing I always like to mention with this is I'm 100% in agreement with everything Therese just said. And something that a business owner mentor of mine when I was first in business told me is stop making it difficult for your clients to give you money. And it sounds silly when you say it out loud, but there are so many contractors and so many businesses that either charge a fee on top of their invoice for the credit card or they flat out don't take credit cards. And if you're losing deals simply because you either don't know your numbers well enough to bake it into the price or you're refusing to deal with it, you're costing yourself deals for sure. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think brief tangent, but in every way possible, you should be minimizing friction.
Mhm.
That's why we preach to try and get to the point where you're selling one call close. And maybe not if you don't want to be pushy or whatever, cool, I get that. Do what's right for you, but at least present them with a price while you're there and ask for the close. Because a lot of times the reason people don't get a close on the first try is because they never actually ask. You know, they'll get really, really timid and, hey Chris, here's your here's what the proposal will be. Like it's gonna be
Mhm.
$86,000. And okay, I know you probably want to talk to your wife. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
have some confidence. And I think a
Mhm.
lot of that goes back to confidence, right? That's also why you
Mhm.
probably discount. That's one of the reasons. You're not
Mhm.
confident in the service you provide. you're not confident in the experience you provide, the quality, all of that stuff. So work on yourself before you start discounting your product.
Yeah. Well, and not to get too far off on this tangent, but from my perspective, I think the number one thing I see with people that are timid in the sales process or unwilling to ask for the close is that they have a mental block where they wouldn't pay what they're asking for their own services.
Oh, I have a great answer for this one.
And they project that onto their client and they say, oh, well, I would never pay this. So maybe if I offer them a discount, they'll feel like they're getting a deal. And I'm like, man, you're not your client. I don't know a single contractor who is their own ideal client. That's not a thing. And it just drives me nuts when they project those feelings onto their clients and assume they're not going to pay the asking price.
Hey, Chris, you're probably not my client either.
Heck no. I highly doubt either one of us are the other person's ideal client. Yeah. Maybe for something silly like window cleaning. Like if your wife really wanted your windows cleaned and you really didn't want to do it, you might call me and be like, "Hey, I'll give you a couple $100 to come clean your windows." But bigger services, heck no.
Sure.
We're both do it yourself kind of people, but we actually know how to do things correctly. Or no contractor is the kind of person who would trade that much money for that amount of time. It just usually isn't the case.
Right. Well, on the other side of that, so back to the discounting part. How many discounts has Lamborghini ever run? Ferrari, Porsche. You think Louis Vuitton discounts its bags? Think Rolex does?
Heck, most of them do the opposite. Most of them make you work extra hard just to pay the retail price.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about LV bags, but cars, you have to get on a list. Rolex, you have to get on a list. I mean,
yeah, it's wild. Rolex does the opposite. They make you fight for the opportunity just to pay their asking price.
And a lot of times,
how crazy is that?
A lot of times you have to buy another one, cars and watches alike. You have to buy the entry level thing they want to sell you in order to get to the nice thing that you really want to buy.
Yeah, try to walk into a Rolex shop and buy a Rolex sometime. You can't.
Right.
And people don't realize that. And just the same way you can't walk into a dealership and buy a Lamborghini. It's not a thing.
Yeah. So I think a lot of times, assuming you want to be the high end person, which I encourage everybody to try to be, you want to provide the best quality, the best possible product, then you should be charging the same as well. You should, but at the same time, let's follow that up with, you need to make sure your experience matches that too. You know, people shouldn't be calling you asking where a project is or why someone's this or why a detail got missed. Like, you have to do it all together, but then you should be 100% confident in your pricing. And if you aren't, here's a fun thing. So if you're really nervous about not giving a discount, next time someone asks for it and they say, "Hey, can you do this for any less?" Just look at them and smile and say, "No, but I'm happy to do it for more." And just like that, you have to have the delivery, make it playful, make it fun. Because I've done that. And most of the time people go, "No, your price is fine."
You know what my favorite one is? My favorite line when somebody asks me for a discount is I look at them and I say, "Well, can I be honest with you for a second? If I give you a discount, doesn't that imply that I was overcharging you to begin with? If I can afford to give you a discount?"
Yeah, I know that's a really common one. I actually don't like that one.
Really? Why not?
One, because I could afford, if you're pricing it correctly, you could afford it.
Fair enough. Yep.
Two, and I think this is probably just a difference in our personalities, but you're way more of a wordy guy and I'm much more short and to the point.
Yeah.
I don't want to say all that.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure part of it is too that I'm mostly selling lower ticket services. People know that there's a lot less margin when I'm selling you an $800 roof and gutter cleaning than there is on a $50,000 backyard. So maybe for services, that actually is probably part of the reason it's usually very well received, because they know that I'm not making 50% net profit on an $800 job and actually paying my guys a living wage and paying for insurance. They know the margins aren't that big.
Right.
And they know it's a volume game, but they assume I can give them I don't know, $50 off if they do this or that. And I tell them, I'm like, listen, we price our jobs as competitively as we can to still run a good operation, pay our guys a good wage, and take care of our people and our customers. And if I charge any less, then it's not feasible for us to do the job for you. And that works really well on a lot of people, especially the wealthier clientele.
Yeah, I guess in service, I kind of like that idea. I would never go through that justification anymore with a client because I know that we provide a luxury service and we're the high end of that luxury service.
And they know they're paying for that luxury service.
Yeah. Well, and when we do our job right and our marketing is placed right and our Google reviews reflect it, like you're paying for an overall experience. So I'm perfectly comfortable. I actually had this conversation with someone the other day. Like, if it's a deck and you're relatively handy, you could absolutely do this project yourself. It's going to take you probably tools you don't have, and it's going to take you substantially longer to get it done. So you're not paying me for something that you're not capable of doing. Just like with window cleaning, you're not like anyone's capable of cleaning a window. They're paying for you to be able to do it with a hose with that special chemical from the ground and not have to touch it, rather than them having to set a ladder up, climb all the way to the top, do it in the cold, blah blah blah. So they're just paying for convenience.
Yep. Well, and the fact that we can come and clean their entire house in 2 hours, and if they did it by hand, it would take the entire day, and it still wouldn't look as good. Like
which is still convenience.
It's convenience. Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is when I think about when I was selling projects like you're doing, I don't think I use those kind of justifications as often because we had positioned ourselves as the luxury option, and we knew that we were more expensive than everybody else. And what we sold was client experience. We sold the dream. We didn't sell like bulk production decks. We sold, you want the nicest backyard on your street.
Yeah. And that's why this is a whole nother conversation that we can go into later, but that's why having core values and a brand identity and an ideal client are all really important, because all of those help create your identity as a company. And then you can know, maybe someone does like to be the cheapest guy in town and they're just doing it because they love it. Maybe some guy was independently wealthy and he just likes helping people. Well, I do this to make money. And if I do it right, I want to make a lot of money, and I want to be able to take care of my kids and my wife and have a blast and do all the fun things and buy that Rolex when they finally call.
Well, and here's another perspective that's very interesting. I've had 2 clients as a coach. One was a plumber and one was a handyman. And one of the things I asked them is both of them at one point told me that they did a job for free for somebody that needed it, like an older person or a retired person or whatever it was. And both times I had the same conversation. I said, how often are you doing free jobs? How often does that happen? And why are you doing it? And they both had the same answer, which is I charge a premium rate and a premium price and make a good living. So when I see an opportunity to give back to the community, I can afford to do so without jeopardizing my family having food on the table at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean when you're charging a premium price that you have to screw everybody over. It's not that you're overcharging people or overpricing or making a killing while other people suffer for it. It means that you're running a good business, you're making a good living, and that usually gives you the opportunity to give back, whether it be donating to charity, whether it be doing work for free. Another great example, like a roofing guy that I know, that you know as well, Mike Tappert. I know they did a either very discounted or free job for a firefighter that had cancer. They put a new roof on their house so they could keep the house and not get in trouble. And I don't know the whole story, but I know that he said he was glad he was able to do that because he was making good money elsewhere and could afford to do that job for a lot less or nothing.
Yeah.
And the union showed up and all the firefighters came out and helped demo and helped with labor, and it was a whole thing. And it's not only is it good to give back to the community, but it's obviously positive PR too, and people like that. It does nothing but build your business, build your reputation, and allow you to give back when you're able to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, go look at statistics. So who's the most people? Who typically is the person donating money to charities?
The wealthy people.
Exactly. And they had to go
Regular
make that money first.
regular middle class people aren't given thousands of dollars to charity, mostly because they can't. So
I agree.
well, we've gone on a couple of tangents, but I really liked it. I think at the end of the day, what we've basically covered is the difference between a strategic discount and a discount from desperation. There's really never a good time to discount from a point of desperation. If you need to charge what you need to charge in order to run your business efficiently, baking in a discount to your sales process and charging enough that you can offer a discount to people when needed is something that makes sense. Offering a credit card or cash discount when you include it in your overhead price makes sense. But is there any other time that you can think of where somebody would justify to you they gave somebody a discount and it would be okay?
I can think of one, and then I can think of one reason that should be the absolute last reason you discount. But I might be willing to discount a project if it was something new. So
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example. We're getting ready to get into the pool game. We already do backyards. We do everything except for pools. I know that I can't provide the same, I can't guarantee the same level of polish and precision as we go through that process the first couple times we do it.
Yep.
So I will market that as, hey, the first 5 pools we install, I will do at a discounted rate because I know that experience potentially won't be as smooth.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways, that discounts an investment into the company for you.
Well, and that's kind of the point, right? Is I know that I'm investing a project and our time and resources for less margin because it gives us valuable experience to then take and do it at the total price we should.
Yep.
The other thing I will say, and I'm going to do a pause so that we can cut this and it can be its own reel because I think this is super important. The absolute last people you should ever discount your product for or your service is friends and family. Because friends and family have no problem paying full price for Jordans, full price for whatever clothes at the mall, full price for their car, everything else. But when it's a friend, obviously, magically they think you should give them a discount. When in reality, and how I live my life, is if you're my friend, I will insist on paying full price. I will insist on giving a review. I will insist on telling people about it because I, more than anything, want to support my friends. I think it's a wild thing in our society that often the people who support you the least, whether that's monetarily or with interactions on social media or any of that, are your closest friends and family. But complete strangers will cheer from you from across the country.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And you kind of said it already, but I personally believe that your real true friends will invest in you, support you both literally and figuratively in a new business, in a venture, and that the people that support you the most are the people that are going to actually invest in you and pay your price. And the people that are friends and family that ask for a discount, it bothers me because it feels to me like they think they're entitled to it just because they know you. And I'm not talking about you doing a job for your parents for free. I'm not talking about you helping out your buddy who's trying to sell his house and needs a water heater and they're in tough times. I'm talking about the people that can afford it and choose to ask you for a discounted or free service because they think they're entitled to it. And that always bothered me.
Well, now you're talking about two different things, right? You're talking about someone that just needs help as a buddy.
Totally different.
Sure. Yeah. So I actually have a situation where I have an example of how I handle that situation. I had a cousin of mine call and say, "Hey, do you know anyone that can build a deck?" I obviously he said it this way. He's like, "I can't afford you. I know you're a premium product. Like that's not in my budget. Do you have someone else you recommend?" I said, "No, but what I am willing to do is I'll come over and we'll build that deck." Here's the thing, though. I'm picking when I'm coming. the whole time I'm working, you will be working with me. This is not going to be you set up the time and then you get me started and you go do whatever else the rest of your day and I do your project for you. I will help you do your project.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'm happy to do it for full price.
Yep.
But that's the only way I work. It's full price or free.
Yeah, I love that. And I've had similar situations where I've had family both pay me full price without even asking. A great example is I've done a number of projects on my grandparents' rental properties that they currently rent out. They've got a portfolio of a handful of properties around the Seattle area. And I've had multiple times where I've tried to do it for free, and somehow a check or a wad of cash makes it into my hand from my grandmother. She will refuse to let me do it for free.
Yeah, she should. I mean,
Yeah.
those are investment properties. That's a business.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is that it makes me feel so good that she recognizes that I'm putting out time and labor and materials. I love being able to help out friends and family, but I also feel very appreciated and like she truly supports me because she's still more than happy to pay. And it's one of those things where it bothers me when people feel entitled to free or discounted work. But on the flip side, when people support you, it feels awesome because you know that they truly care about you and support you.
Yep.
So awesome. Well, I did want to ask one thing at the end before we wrap, because there's one other scenario that I just thought of as we were having this last conversation is what about the people that are new and they are so slow on work that they aren't working and they say, should I give a discount just to try and sell some jobs so I can fill my calendar?
Yes.
Okay. I agree with that. And especially if you're a medium-sized company and you have a couple of employees and I'm either not sending my guys to work this week or I'm going to eat my net profit and sell some jobs at a 10% discount so my guys have work. I'm fully in support of that. I've done that before where we're in a slow slump and I've wanted to put some jobs on the calendar so my guys can work. But I don't think that is the same as selling a ton of work at a discount, because you also don't want to end up in a position where you sold a bunch of work where you're not making any money. And it means you can't take on good paying work, because that's the flip side of that as well. If you book yourself out for 3 months selling yourself for cheap or nothing, and then you have a good high paying client come through the door, but they need that job done in 6 weeks, now you've screwed yourself over. So there's definitely a fine line in that. But do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I think you covered that pretty well.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think we'll wrap this up. For those of you listening, we're glad you guys made it this far. Glad you guys listened all the way through. If you haven't joined our free Facebook group, come check it out. It's a free group for contractors looking to grow, scale, and network. The link will be in the show notes, and we would love to have you guys check it out and meet you. If you ever need any help or you're interested in coaching, feel free to reach out. You can DM, text, or email me or Therese, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for listening.